Today I want to introduce the PB-150 for those who are chasing a bit more power and versatility out of their 12 volt system.
I'm bringing all that power, I'm bringing all that power. It's an energy.
The PB-150 is a completely new model for 2022, and the reason it's here is because of you guys at home. We had so many customers asking us for a larger system to suit their canopy, caravan or motorhome or even boat, along with the capability to run the all-important coffee machine when they're out in the bush. The PB-150 has similar features to the PB-100 model, including the outlet on the front to run fridges and things like that, the two twin USB outlets, twin cigarette outlets, solar input, and also the vehicle input. The PB-150, like the 100, has the new 200 amp isolator. Now, the main difference with the 150 is obviously 50 amps more storage in the battery, but it also has inverter capable outlet. So on the back of the unit, you get an additional 50 amp Anderson plug to run a second fridge, a pie oven, but the main part of the 150 is the 120 amp Anderson plug. Now that allows you to connect an inverter quickly and easily so you can make that ever important cappuccino when you wake up in the morning in the middle of nowhere. The PB-150 also has the Victron Smart Shunt now included in the unit. The Victron Smart Shunt shows you absolutely everything about your 12 volt system, and we all know with 12 volt system information is power. It tells you everything from current voltage, state of charge, your input current and output current, power in watts, amp hours consumed. It also gives you a history section showing you the deepest discharge that you've done, along with total power consumption and how many amps you've used over a 24-hour period. It really does tell you absolutely everything about your 12 volt system. The 150 amp power box surely does pack a punch. Much like the 100 amp hour and the rest of the range, it comes with the new Victron Smart Shunt built into it, along with a Redarc 1225D DC to DC charger. It's a complete unit ready to go, and it is still portable like the rest of the range. Although a bit bigger and a little bit heavier, you can still take it out of your vehicle, stick it into your mate's car for that once a year trip to the most remote places in Australia. So we've spoken about the specs of the new PB-150, but the proof is in the pudding. Let's plug some gear into it and show you guys at home what this portable little unit can offer and what it can do. So take 3. Our previous coffee machine, for some reason, didn't want to suck the water up, so it wasn't working. So we've got the other one out of the workshop now, going through. It's done its warm-up process. We'll let you know how many amps we're drawing. We're on. So we're doing 117 amps during the coffee portion of it. So we'll go through and let you know what we do with the milk frother to heat the milk up. The big thing with most coffee machines and why a smaller lithium system will be able to handle it is the frequency. So you might get up in the morning and make 2 coffees. At the moment, our consumption that we've actually used is 2.8 amp hours. Although we're drawing around 115, that's 115 amps per hour. So our consumption at the moment, we're 3.1 amps that we've used. Now, time remaining on our battery, if the coffee machine was to keep going, is around 2 hours and 42 minutes. So the coffee section's now finished off. We'll go through, turn the milk frother on. So now the milk frother's on, you should be able to see the little red light on the front. The milk frother doesn't draw nowhere near as much power as what the heating element is to heat the hot water up. So we're only drawing 37.87 amps. So we'll see what it's like once that coffee frother finishes, but at the moment we've only taken 3.6 amp hours from our 150 amp hour system. Our battery voltage is 12.82, which is lower, which is understandable due to the inverter pulling so much out of it. This Victron system really is good, and it tells you absolutely everything. So we're doing 478 watts of power while the coffee frother's working. So for most people, jumping up in the morning and making them cup of coffees isn't an issue. It's the frequency on your 12 volt system that you need to be mindful of, and the sequence on how you use it. So if you're camping all throughout the night, you're running fridges, you may run an induction cooker for 15 minutes. One thing you need to be mindful is that 150 amps of storage is going to deplete overnight. With refrigeration, lighting, we all run the stereo, our fridges run harder because we're opening the fridge more often, getting beers out, plus cooking. So one thing you need to be mindful of, first thing in the morning, make sure you got some solar input coming back in, which you can do via the front on the 150 model, just to make sure that your system stays charged. We're going through now, we're getting pretty close. Still only drawing 36 amps, 462 watts. There we go, we're done. So to do a cappuccino, we've used 4.5 amps out of our battery storage from the 150. So to make 2 coffees, even if you said it was 10 amps, you still got plenty of storage left over. Now, coffee machines aren't the only things. You can run anything 240 volt. One thing you need to be mindful with the PB-150 is induction cookers, because you can draw a hell of a lot more than the 1500 watts. Things like chargers, computers, all that kind of stuff, we always advise to convert everything, or as much as you possibly can, back to 12 volt. One thing with GoPros, for example, it's a DC battery. So running a DC power source through an inverter, through the charger, to then turn it back to DC to charge your GoPro battery, just get the USB outlets or the cigarette outlets to charge your GoPros, drone batteries, computers, because the efficiencies or loss through your inverter, you'll be blown away how much you actually lose converting it from DC to AC. So one tip for you is convert everything that you can. If it can get a cigarette outlet or USB charger for it, try and charge all of your stuff direct from DC as opposed to 240 volt. And definitely can't go wrong with having a cappuccino while you're out in the bush.
I'm bringing all that power. All that power. I'm bringing all that power. It's an energy inside of me. I want to be.
The PB-150 will give you all the extra power that you're looking for.
Power. I'm bringing all that power.